I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and this is truly one of the most unusual Conspiracy Mondays in my many years of doing this, in that we're trying to get the feel of people taking on issues like Conspiracy Monday. And it just so happens The View is now talking about issues we've been talking about for a couple of years now. Melania being faked. That's right. The View is finally breaking into conspiracy land, which is a good thing. And I applaud their work. And one of the ladies, an African-American lady on The View, said that she'd rather talk about the fake Melania story, because a lot of people don't believe pictures are real or not with her. She'd rather talk about that than having to talk about Trump being a Russian asset. That's pretty interesting. And now people are really talking about how Melania may be faked at times because she doesn't want to make appearances with Donald. Donald may have connections to the Russians, very much so, that go deep. We know Donald has relations with people like Henry Kissinger because he called him the day after he fired James Comey. So we have a lot of concern that this man, who we call our president, is working as an asset for Russia. And I'm more than willing to talk about that on our show. So this is essentially an open dialogue about conspiracies. And if you haven't heard about conspiracies yet, this is the place to talk about them. We are concerned that there's a certain group of people that have been controlling American politics for about 50 years. I'm not sure exactly when they were formed, but the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, have been busy buying off our leaders, both the Democrats and the Republicans. They pay huge amounts into Donald Trump. He actually openly solicited them. Thank you. They pay huge amounts into the funding of Hillary Clinton and Obama. So these people are at the core, and now people are saying that maybe Donald Trump is saying that the Democrats don't like Jews because Omar, that one woman, came out against AIPAC, and they haven't condemned her. So that's the state of the news right now, is that people are claiming Trump doesn't think that the Democrats, he actually thinks that they may hate Jews, but he hasn't said that, and neither is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So we're kind of reaching a pivotal point where we're talking about the issue, which is a good thing. But other stories are going to be pushed in front of us to keep us sidetracked, and that's probably what's going to happen. That story didn't make much mileage, but it got out there today. We don't want him on cam, no. You can't say those things in here. You got a 15-minute, a 1-hour knockout of the show. I don't know when Mark's going to update anything. We have a great video from Mr. Reagan, which we played many times, and we played on our show.
The brains.
About Ocasio-Cortez, and that came in a couple times. The woman that continually wants more power. Turns out her brother answered an ad, and she was just flipping tables as a waitress, and she just got into it because she loves power. She wants money. I mean, who people would ask, well, who doesn't like money? Well, if you become sold out and say anything you want for the people that put you there, yeah, that's pretty messed up. All right, well, look at this.
Behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Mr. Reagan.
This guy does a really good job of analyzing the root source of Ocasio-Cortez's rise to power, and he found it. It's one of the guys from the Young Turks. And you're probably familiar with that Young Turks, which has been getting promoted on YouTube, whereas I get demoted. The Young Turks, I think, are pretty much pushed by Soros because it's a socialist organization. They are pushing and pitching what they're calling democratic justice. And he believes that the other person behind this rise to power from Ocasio, is this person who managed the Bernie Sanders campaign. He's a kind of a nerdy guy. I won't show it to you right now. I'm not demonizing anyone. I'm telling you, this woman isn't real. She takes her feed from these people. The top guy Bernie Sanders had that pushed the Democratic election forward for Bernie Sanders moved over, and he just decided to take over. They're moving on taking over the Democratic Party. And ironically, Nancy Pelosi is now saying today that she doesn't believe that an impeachment should go forward, which is unfortunate. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, doesn't even want an impeachment. She says, why bother? What I mean, really, 2 more years of Donald Trump making money on the side, not to mention the Russians' control over our government. This woman seems to be working for that same group I was telling you about, the Zionists that want to control the world. I'd like to stop the labels. I really would. But if Ocasio-Cortez had not responded with such stupidity when on an open mic, she started talking about how Bezos had the money directed to Bezos, $3 billion should have been spent on the people of Bronx or Long Island. She didn't understand what a tax incentive was, which means she doesn't understand economics, which means she probably does not have a degree in economics from Boston University. Everything looks suspicious about this woman. And Mr. Reagan, that guy, I'll play a video later tonight, has a very good take on it. Anyway, moving on. Trump is now showing his true face. He's now pushing for unlimited immigration and work visas. See, I would put a cap on it. I even talked about a cap on it. Yeah, we discussed the idea of limitations on immigration. My fast-track naturalization plan gets the people who are most interested in becoming U.S. citizens a chance. Not somebody who just wants to come over here and steal and cheat and get over here through the illegal means of crossing border and risking their family's life. We don't need those kind of people. And that's ironically the kind of people we're getting in this country. People that are, And I'm not going to go so far as to call these people gang members and drug addicts and drug dealers like Trump is, but they're not the nicest people. You got to wonder. I don't really think she does. I'm not here to talk about your love affair for AOC. I think that the reaction to the FAA's ruling, they declined to ground the 737 MAX 8, says unknown if two crashes are linked. I think that's prudent at this point. Yeah, but I don't believe that the Boeing 737 program is 100% safe either. So I would definitely call for a task force to review the program, not just internally by Boeing, but externally. And I would send a team of our overpaid FAA workers over there to do some random checks of how it could have happened. And that means going to the actual crash site. Is it true 90% of your viewers are WN? What do you mean by WN? Windows users? Explain. Well, I travel by car. It's the safest way. I don't feel comfortable traveling by plane because planes, number one, the navigation systems are hackable. That's a problem. 21 thoroughbred horses died at Santa Anita racetrack. That's weird. I can't even imagine why. Is there a disease going on? I didn't hear about that. Thank you for telling me. A friend of mine lives right above the Santa Anita racetrack. Yeah. I think that this Boeing 737 should remain a strong part of the fleet, but the MAX 8 itself needs to be looked at specifically. Shutting down planes, obviously, if I were concerned for you and the navigation systems, I would shut all planes down. But you're not targeted. You're not a person who gets 3 to 4 death threats a day. I am. I would ground all airlines if it meant, ensuring that every single navigation system is protected, but we don't know if it is. Ever since MH370, the navigation systems on these planes may have been vulnerable. We still don't know why MH370 went down, and there's more and more evidence that 5 patent holders died on that trip, leaving just one patent holder. Actually, 4 died on that trip, leaving just one patent holder, Jacob Rothschild, to be the sole recipient of the patent itself. This is an amazing patent too. It's used in unmanned aerial vehicles. It can control the maneuvering of the vehicle. The KL03 microchip, now under full control by the Zionist elitist Jacob Rothschild. He was the sole, as the Carlyle Group owner or CEO, or the underwritten power behind the Carlyle Group, he is the sole power that owns that patent now. 4 co-owners disappeared. So that's a suspicious link and makes you wonder, did he or anyone use the ability of remote control navigation, taking over and hijacking that plane and dropping it into the ground or landing it? These are questions that are still not answered by our government. A lot of things are not answered by our government. Okay. Now, we're not here to talk about your personal physical behavior. If you come in here for just fun, March. But you didn't answer my question. What does WM stand for? Yeah, are most of your viewers WM? Thank you. All right, pants are a little high. We're trying to react to chat. We have a new chatter in here who claims to be chatting in some weird language known as 4chan. Really? Oh, white nationalists. Thank you, Scissor Fight. No, we're not white nationalists. No. Hardly. We're just average Americans who have awoken to the dangers of the Zionist elitists. A lot of you white nationalists have fallen into the category of denying the Holocaust. That was actually a plan put in place by the CIA. It's to diminish your credibility, to trivialize your belief that Zionism has taken over the country. So you went off in the direction of believing the Holocaust didn't exist. The Holocaust really did exist, and it was horrible. In fact, Hitler purposely ended up killing all the Jews simply to create a state of Israel. It's part of the agreement that they were put together. The people that financed Trump, ironically, were the same people that financed Hitler and brought him to power. And that would be the Rothschilds. Many of the dollars that have funneled into Trump's pocket came through the World Bank and the Federal Reserve. Over the years, they bailed him out through the 1980s and into the 90s. And when they closed their doors on him, the powerful oligarchs in Russia picked up and they continued on. No, this is not a wig. This is my real hair. Thank you for asking. But yeah, this is a very deep and disturbing subject that we could probably talk about for hours, the Zionist takeover of our country. But I don't really want to make it the big part of our nation's discussion right now. Because, again, I'm not a white supremacist or whatever that is. I'd like to do Can't Stop, but the Zionists own YouTube and they won't allow me to do it. If they do it, they write disputations. Even though it's our song and Scissorfied created it for us, they send me dispute letters every time I play it. I can only play a couple seconds of the Can't Stop. I usually close the show with it. It's unfortunate.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night.
So if I could play it every night, I would. Oh, it's a nice cut. Yeah, it was really a great tune. Yeah. So bear in mind, we're not comprised of people that hate races of any kind. Joe Pesci says the first eyelid transplant came from an uncircumcised penis. But then the person was cockeyed. Joe, is that a joke? Real news items are important. If you're joking around all night, you can only imagine where we're coming from. It's 1 o'clock where you live, I know. Okay, his budget is a blueprint for another government shutdown, essentially. The 2020 budget, Trump's to ask for additional $8.6 billion in border wall funding. And I'm thinking that this would be a great opportunity for him to steal my idea. Donald, if you're listening, I would urge you to use reconciliation as a way of controlling the vote here. If they can pass Obamacare with it, Donald, they can pass your $8.6 billion wall. Reconciliation, I urge him to use reconciliation. This is a perfect time to do it. It won't pass the House, but that's okay. You can still get it done in the Senate. And the Senate's ready to go. They can easily pass this. But you do have to reach a point where the House will agree. But 51% is all you need for reconciliation. So Donald, we don't need an emergency. That was a waste of time. Like I said, just go for reconciliation. Okay, we got a video here on the Rothschilds. 6 minutes coming up tonight. The history of the Rothschilds. During this decade of 1760, Mayor Amschel Bauer worked for a bank owned by the Oppenheimers in Hanover, Germany. He is highly successful and becomes a junior partner. Whilst working at the bank, he became acquainted with General von Estorff. Rothschild subsequently becomes close associates with Prince Willem and ends up doing business with him. You see, the Rothschilds represented the court Jews, and they were court Jews. They represented Jewish royalty, I should say. They represented Jewish royalty, and to this day they would love to be Jewish, but they're not. They're Ashkenazi, much like Hitler and Himmler and Göring and Müller. They were all Ashkenazis. No, the Rothschilds were not Jews. They were court Jews. They were employed by the royal Jews to handle the money and do money tending. And over the long term, they made more money than even the Jewish royalty. And that's when all the leaders of the countries agreed to sell all the banks to privateers. They used the power to control our country to push a Federal Reserve on us, and now they have pretty much control of our monetary system. Hey, that's Conspiracy 101 in a nutshell. And there's one other thing you have to think about when analyzing issues like conspiracy theories. We've had a few tonight, we've already talked about in the pre-show. Is they're always thinking about the end game of depopulation. Yeah. It's definitely on their list. Now tonight we take on the tough issues. I don't want to leave any news stories out, so I'm going to kind of sweep through the news here and make sure I've got everything. Okay. We got a few things to talk about later tonight. Okay, nothing serious on the docket. All right. This note here, this will lead me into my next subject matter. The White House won't say if embattled Labor Secretary Acosta has Trump's support. This is a very touchy situation because when Labor Secretary Acosta was working as a federal judge, or as a state judge, a state appellate judge in Florida, he actually only gave Jeffrey Epstein 1 year for trafficking 60 14-year-old girls, sex trafficking them. I mean, people get 7 years for 7 files on their computer of kiddie porn. But this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, got 1 year, and this man Acosta, they're saying, did not follow procedure. So there's a big scandal brewing with Acosta about Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump won't talk about it because Jeffrey Epstein is his friend. Well, we've got some serious problems with our government protecting pedophiles. This is a person who was a CIA agent who stepped out of the box, and he said that the CIA agent who says agency supplies pedophiles with children. And now you're beginning to understand why Bill Clinton may have had a free ride to Orgy Island every time he wanted to go. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting story that I haven't seen talked about in the mainstream media. If you want to check it out, it's just shocker. Rothschilds are not based in China, no. The Zionist horse racing murders, okay. I'll take a look at it. I don't want to talk too much about the
Santa Anita Park in Southern California. An unusual number of.
I don't want to talk too much about the Pizzagate story tonight, other than to say we're going to allude to the issues as we go along. But we're going to say that there is a cabal of secret child trafficking going on in our society and in England and in Belgium and around the world that is not being properly investigated by our government. That being said, it raises the issue, well, why is our government conspiring with pedophiles to prevent crimes from being, justice from being served? Yeah. So we have an obligation to talk about it on Conspiracy Monday, but I'll be alluding to it during the show. But that link right there, if you could click on it, is one of the most powerful links I've seen on the internet, showing a connection between the CIA and child trafficking. All right. Right. All non-Rothschild nations are already destroyed, like Syria or Libya. And Venezuela is scheduled for invasion, right. They're simply using the power that they have. They have America by the clutch. They own the two-party system. And like I said, through AIPAC, they funnel money through these Superfund PACs. Even Russian Superfund PACs fund money to people like Mitch McConnell for re-election. Now, a couple days ago, I didn't talk about this, but Adam Schiff said that he'd urge Donald Trump to speak under oath, to answer questions under oath. And I had to laugh because Adam Schiff's never been put under oath himself. And if you look at all the things that he's done, he needs to be looked at seriously for his potential corruption. Adam Schiff. Right. He is a guy who got to power because he's a relative of George Soros's. And George Soros funded his rise to power. And George Soros funds the Adam Schiff campaign. So this is not exactly the guy we'd want to get behind an impeachment, along with Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, the two worst likely people to run an impeachment hearing would be these two people. I don't know. Captain Marvel's story is gaining virality. I can't really talk about it right now. Brie Olson and the whole discussion is something I really would rather not discuss at this time. Thanks. No, the real Democrats are not trying to get the party back from Republican Democrats. The leftist, socialist, communists are trying to take over the Democratic Party. That's a hostile takeover, what's happening with the Young Turk guy and then the media mogul guy for Bernie Sanders. It's not good what's happening. The Democrats are weak, and they're being taken over by leftists, which helps us, by the way. It certainly helps us. Being centrist, I support a centrist platform right in the middle of the political spectrum, which has more potential to win in an election coming up than any other one. Yeah, they are. Than any other one. And the Democrats don't offer real solutions to problems like our rooftop revolution, which I've been way ahead of everybody on this one. Hillary Clinton used this idea that I came up with in her debates against Trump. We have the Homestead Renewal Plan. No one wants to do that because the money goes directly back into the program to make more houses for people to own, as opposed to rent. And we'll also be able to fix up motels and turn them into mini kitchenette hotel rooms, which will be able to be used and circulated. My ideas have been accused of being socialist, but they're not. They're grounded in a concept I call hybrid capitalism. Yeah. And we even wrote a book about it in 2012. Sarah and I have a book under the name Hybrid Capitalism online if you want to read about it. This is its book right there. Yeah, 2012. We wrote this book with the intention of helping the country figure out a way out. You can get it on Kindle for 99 cents or a $14.99 paperback. But it definitely embodies what I call a way to get a return on investment for the government, not relying solely on your taxes. That's a big part of what we're doing. We're not socialists. We are concerned about the rise in size of large corporations and mega monopolies that are forming. But that's starting to sound like something William Barr, the current Attorney General, is talking about. So we're kind of fitting right into the new dialogue going on about breaking monopolies. I'd like to fit into that category of being an antitrust buster. So if that works, but I'm not going to bankrupt companies doing it, and I don't want to destroy them either. We also don't want the government to use unfair advantage against companies that it's competing against. So if the government were to produce, widgets that some other company was making, we would never be able to bust that monopoly. It just wouldn't be allowed. We don't want unfair advantage over private corporations, but we do want the government to compete in the free market, it certainly should have a shot, at least compete. But we don't even have a government that does anything right now. We got a bunch of people that sit around and push pencils and occupy space in the bureaucracy and feed their own trough of money. Notice how not much happened when the government was shut down for a while? Half the government was shut down in the partial shutdown. It wasn't really hurting us at all. There was no major loss other than the Coast Guard. And TSA we don't even need. We could use unmanned or plainclothes National Guard and Coast Guard members as TSA workers. We wouldn't even need the TSA. So theoretically, if we just resolve the TSA problem and then merge the Coast Guard with the National Guard, we could shut the government down anytime we were over budget. It wouldn't hurt at all. And that's essentially my plan for 2021. That the government shutdown will be a pay-as-you-go plan to get our government running efficiently. We'll consolidate what really works and make sure that the area that doesn't work will be underfunded. No, we will not seize the means of production. No. For instance, generic pharmaceuticals are produced right now by generic pharmaceutical companies. Well, the government could get in on this investment, and we could partner up with a government corporate contract and make generic pharmaceuticals for people. And we can tell people that they'll be able to get their blood pressure medication for $20 as opposed to $160 per week or per month. These are expensive medications that need to be scaled back, so why not getting the government involved? We meet the market that doesn't exist because some people are going without their medicine. which is bad for us in the long run. All of us will pay more for our health care because of it. So getting the government in on generic pharmaceutical medication is essentially one of our ideas in hybrid capitalism. We also have great ideas to create mobile medical units and a whole variety of solutions that could solve America's problems. But again, people are stealing my ideas faster than you can even understand them. So even our basic income plan has increased to $500 a month because Kamala Harris is talking about a $500 tax break per month. She hasn't even offered exactly what I'm offering. And it's a better solution overall, I think, to give people cash than to give them a tax break. It helps our economy right away. So this is the new number, by the way. It used to be 400. It's up to 500 now. Oh, you take blood pressure medications. Wow, that's great. Well, I'm glad you're $99 a month. It's helping. Yeah, as long as you're feeling better, that's good. Dave, the Hong Kong market is open. The Hang Seng Index up 236 points today. Yes. Yeah, the Dow Jones had a... you get Virginia Healthcare. The Dow Jones had an update today, 200 points. It got back up to 25,650. So that sends sparks flying into the Nikkei, and your rise up there is indicative of what's happening over here. So yeah, we're very buoyant. Our economy is proving to be way more buoyant than most people realize. I don't believe that 90% are white nationalists of white people. I don't believe that at all. No. So you can't qualify that statement. Sorry. Okay, LA racetrack is under question. We've got a person who's very concerned about it. Let's take a look at what's going on. 21 horses dead. This is bizarre.
All races have been suspended at Santa Anita Park in Southern California. An unusual number of thoroughbreds have been injured recently and then put down. Carter Evans is there.
It happened in an instant. Watch the number 4 horse. The 3-year-old thoroughbred appears to stumble, and his jockey pulls back. Because of a severe leg injury, the horse had to be euthanized.
Are you able to tell from the video what went wrong here?
She's striding out really well, which tells you she's fine.
Jim Cassidy trains 40 horses here on this track.
And there it happens right there.
Then she hits a spot. I have to blame the racetrack for that.
He also blames the track for the death of one of his own horses weeks ago. In just over 2 months, 21 racehorses have been euthanized after sustaining serious injuries at Santa Anita. That's more than double the number of horses that died here last season and significantly more than prior years. This is one of the wettest winters in nearly a decade for California, and track experts have been testing the surface to determine the impact of all the rain.
Has it shown anything?
The testing that was done last week suggested that it was uniform all the way around the 1 mile racetrack.
Santa Anita is closed indefinitely until they figure it out. The right move, according to Jim Cassidy, who doesn't want to see any more healthy horses injured and put down.
If you took all of these horses and put them on a different racetrack, the ones that died on us, put them on a different racetrack, probably would never happen.
Wow, so they killed and euthanized horses for no reason. I think they should be charged with a crime as well. I think the racetrack should be charged with a crime. Yeah. They shoot horses, don't they? Great movie. Yeah, really. It's very sad to me because I love horses, and I grew up with horses. When I was a young man, I was at summer camp. I got to know horses really well. Yeah, it was a amazing feeling to be around a horse. Horses are very remedial too. If you have a kid who's got autism or ADHD and you get them into a program where, you know, they're safely able to be around horses, even to walk or to get ahead of the horse because you don't want to be behind the horse. When a horse breaks their leg, you don't have to put him down. You just need a swim spa and a special apparatus to suspend them. For only $14,900, you can go to hotsprings.com and get a swim spa and put that horse in there. Yeah. It gives them enough buoyancy to live. You have to completely grease their body down because the water will affect their coat, but you can get a horse back to heel if you get them in a buoyant environment. They literally sleep in the water. Well, we talked about the desk treadmill for the horse, but no, the horses have to be up off of their leg in order to heal. Otherwise, they can't heal. But there are high-end horse remedial centers that can get your horse to save your horse. But they cost like $60,000 minimum. No, an injured animal, a horse, doesn't just require pasture, it requires special care. Once they break their leg, the body weight alone is enough to destroy them. But they can heal, but not run again, right? They can't compete again. But they can heal. If you love that horse and you want to stud that horse out, you got to get that horse. Oh yeah, it's worth it. The stud fees alone would give adequate amount of money. Of course, he'd have to wear a brace when jumping on the other horse. It's not a fundamental design flaw. Horses were not meant to be pushed as hard as we're pushing them. So it's inhumane what we're doing to the animals. Hillary Clinton is here. Okay, we got Donald the other night. The Donald came in, and now Hillary's here. David, are you aware I'm above the law? What difference at this point does it make, Hillary? I know. Well, we're a little concerned about the money that you didn't give the Haitian people because they're living in a sea of garbage. Hillary, that alone, you may want to look at that because that's your biggest liability. You put the Benghazi thing to rest when you hired Strzok, the FBI agent, to cull your emails and get rid of anything that had Benghazi in it. But you blew it with the Pizzagate thing. You didn't ask them to pull all emails related to children's or cheese pizza. Thank you. Do you think Donald will forgive Manafort? Yes. He's already made it very clear he supports Manafort, and he'll pardon him no matter what. The question is, will Mueller go to trial on Manafort's second charges, money laundering? It seems like Mueller wants to wrap this up and act like there's no money laundering, but that's the real conduit of money that Trump relied on for all those years prior to the election, Russian oligarch money. And if that trial doesn't go forward, Mueller is definitely... I'm going to be suspicious that he's involved. And I'll be opening, when I become president, I'll be opening up an investigation into Mueller if he doesn't open up this investigation right now. Second of all, if he doesn't get the 10 years of tax returns from Donald Trump through subpoena, I'm going to be suspicious of Mueller as well. Remember, Trump said he would reveal this once his audits were over? Well, I mean, sure, the audits are over. The IRS has had them for 2 years. Hello? Why hasn't he revealed those 10 years of tax returns? So that's a very big lie that Trump engaged in, which is very suspicious. Well, if I'm not president, nothing will go on. We'll never have an investigation into 9/11. And tomorrow we'll talk about the 9/11 truth issue. We'll never have an investigation into the JFK assassination, which looks more and more like a cover-up. If I'm not elected, we'll never get anywhere. So you either get me elected, or we're not going to have any overturning effort whatsoever by anyone into these dark, evil cover-ups within our government. These people that killed our president, John F. Kennedy, are probably still in power right now. I'm assuming they are. I mean, after all, they're dumping chemicals on your head every day, so and you simply don't even know what the hell's going on, so I guess they are still in power. What about Martin Luther King? Well, he was killed. Yeah, we could investigate that. I know his family would certainly benefit it. I believe that a piece of valuable evidence in the Martin Luther King discovery case was overturned. An FBI agent had found an envelope with cash in it in the vehicle of James Earl Ray, and a man's name of Raoul on that envelope. Now, James Earl Ray said he got cash to just sit there. That was his statement. He was just a patsy, just like Lee Harvey Oswald was. But James Earl Ray, even Martin Luther King's family doesn't believe he did it. So yeah, we could definitely open up the case looking at that piece of evidence. Raul is an interesting character because that same name popped up with Jack Ruby. All right, we're going to change the subject now because obviously the racetrack mystery was fun, but you can't have it all, right? Tucker Carlson was in the news. I want to play this for you. Apparently he put his foot in his mouth regarding women. Claimed that they were primitive or something. Let's take a look.
Actually, he's not in prison for that. Warren Jeffs didn't marry underage girls.
No, he's in prison for facilitation of child rape.
Whatever the hell that means.
That means
he's in prison. He's in prison because he's weird and unpopular, and he has a different lifestyle that other people find creepy.
No, he's an accessory to the rape of children. That is a felony, and a serious one at that.
What do you mean an accessory? He's like got some weird religious cult where he thinks it's okay to, marry underage girls. But he didn't do it. Why wouldn't the guy who actually did it, who had sex with an underage girl, he should be the one who's doing life? The rapist in this case has made a lifelong commitment to live and take care of the person. So it is a little different. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's not accused of touching anybody. He is accused of facilitating a marriage between a 16-year-old girl and a 27-year-old man. That's the accusation. That's what they're calling felony rape.
But in our state,
that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Now, this guy may be a total creep, maybe he's not rapist. I'm just telling you that arranging a marriage between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old is not the same as pulling a stranger off the street and raping her. That's bullshit.
But you know what? In my brief experience, what gets women going is arguing with them.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not, Brad. I never use that.
It's true. You debate politics with a woman and just go, just full blown out there, especially feminism. If you're talking to a feminist and she's giving you, men really need to be more sensitive, and this, actually, men don't need to be more sensitive. You just need to be quiet and kind of do what you're told.
Oh my goodness!
Tell me that guy doesn't work anymore.
Tell me that Tucker Carlson could lose his job any day now. He has no appreciation for women's rights. He doesn't respect women. He claims they're primitive. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, something like that, moving nerd. Wow. It's hard to believe he said that. I mean, I'd like to believe that he didn't. Sarah, Queen of the Worms! Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. I don't mind being called Queen of the Worms because I like my worms so much. Who are you talking about? 215. All right. Oh, goodness. I always say, I'm not sure what I said. What I claimed. Go ahead and bring up what you think I claimed. Oh, Wednesday you'll know if you get permission to start on vermicompost. Vermiculture, yay! That's going to be so fun, maxed out credit. Yes! Yes! I'm super excited for you. Yeah. I mean, it saves the planet. Worms can save the world. I really believe in that. Why do you think you get all the trivia? Yeah, haters are gonna hate. All right, yeah, you have to study it. Big thing is you have to dig it in the ground, has to have a lid, and then you're golden. Oh, you're going to build old pallets to build the habitat to build it? That'll work as long as you also you know how a pallet has holes in it? You got to make sure you board those holes up. So every other one, yeah. But it'll be fine other than that. But you gotta make those holes, close those holes up. Not necessarily for the worms. It's really to board the holes up. It's really to keep the right mice and rodents out. Worms will eat me one day or the other. Well, I want to be human composted. I know, Dave was like, I want to be in a steel casket. Nobody can touch my body. And I'm like, just wrap me in like linen. Okay, if you insist, you can put me in a cedar box. And then just make sure that you dump a little like red wriggler worms on me. Oh goodness, Sarah, we can love partial differential equations and Wayne Gretzky when he was allegedly done and scored a hat trick. A hat trick. You'll be incinerated. No, don't stop the worm.
Well, Wayne Gretzky, we've seen it for so many years, and now we're seeing it with a new stick. He liked the stick so much, he bought the company. Wayne Gretzky has bought the Hespler.
Okay, where do I need to go in that Wayne Gretzky one? I have red wriggler worms, Mac Dundee. How was my day? My day was good. I had ordered this thing about financial research, and I decided to cancel it, and I got through and was able to cancel it successfully. So that was a bonus for me. What does a T stand for? Oh, trillion? Well, I'd say, what does the T stand for? That's what I would have said at Morton. Yes, I love the worms. There you go. The vers, I think in French. Yeah, the red wrigglers are kind of like earthworms, but they're a little bit different. The earthworms can eat red wrigglers worms. Red wriggler worms will eat the bacteria growing on food scraps. So they're really good for making soil. Worms in French. Vers de terre. I think that's it. Dr. Meow's in here, so he'll correct me. Oh, that's true. 40K. That's true. I guess I'm not used to talking in trillions of dollars at Morton Joe, so I don't know if I would have known it was trillion. I wish you were too, Sponheim Squarepant. Yes, soil is growing. Something a lot of people don't consider. It's made by things that lived and died. It's growing. And you know, with soil, what really you have to do is ask me to unban who. What really you got to do is, I always feel like it's saving the landfills when I add in my food scraps. It is all up to me. You're right. I have it all written down. But I have a lot more to do, Bree. Got a lot. I have other things on my to-do list. I guess like you're What you're trying to educate me, it just keeps getting pushed to the bottom of my stack. Maybe that happens with students too. They don't listen because it's at the bottom of their what they're interested in. I'm not going to do that, Tikin. You can. I won't. I don't realize it's too little too late. I don't think my composting is too little too late. I think every little bit matters. And I think that's very good. Define knowledge versus credentialism. Probably degrees would be credentialism. Knowledge would be what you learn and experience and know. Like, from experience. Am I wrong, Bree? You'll probably correct me if I am. Yes, me too. Can't wait for it to not be freezing. Well, actually, it's not freezing here anymore. Hello, Winchell. Hello, Winchell. Hello, Winchell. Hello, Winchell. Hello, Winchell. Hello. Winchell. Yeah, David's making me some vittles. I always thought vittles is spelled with T's. V-I-T-T-L-E-S. You're at Whidbey for 3 months in the 1990s. NAS Whidbey. It's beautiful here. Oh, don't tell everybody that, though. I don't want it to be like... I don't know how to spell vittles. I'm right. Really? Women scold you if you open a door for them? Like, you think I couldn't open that for myself? You think I'm too weak and I need you? I don't need you. Don't talk to me. I'm sorry that happens, Dr. Meow. How does Plato's 2,000-year-old allegory of the cave relate to America and then in 2000? Perception. I'm just going to say that one word. Perception. People see what they want to see, really. I mean, people would say they see what they're exposed to, but really, I think people see what they want to see when you talk about America in 2019. Perceptual psychology, too. Weak. Sorry, Sarah. Weak. The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. More details? Okay, well, in the cave, they talk about how you only see basically...
And then your coffin begins to leak and the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out.
That's so hilarious. The Hearst song, the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out.
Oh, yeah. Did you want to save that chicken ravioli for something, or?
No, you can use it.
Okay.
I was just going to take, like, when I go... Yeah, use it.
I'm just going to have some of it.
I'm not saving it for anything in particular.
Okay.
I do have to take that sausage in the morning. Yeah. Anyway. I tried reading Plato. I hated the Republic because I wanted to go in and argue with him. Like, you moron! Really? Well, I don't want to call names. I know that name calling is not a really good argument. But I did not like it at all. I completely disagree with you. Because I don't like that. Plato's Republic. Oh, God. It's horrid. And irrelevant, I would say. I hated that book. Now it's real because I don't like the book. I know. Well, and then I read the part about the cave. I did read it when I was trying to Maybe I didn't read all of it, but I read it when I was trying to train on Dragon Naturally System or Microsoft way back in the day. Maybe it's because I read Plato in English, but I didn't like it at all. I just felt like his ideal of the world was definitely not my ideal. Now, everybody has each his own. Each has their own ideals, but I did not like it at all. You know what book I did like? I did like Utopia. I thought what was cool, the coolest part of that book was the idea of planting trees near rivers so that, because back then there was no, vehicles. But planting trees near rivers so that you could cut them down and then take them along the water, and then you could take them up to wherever you needed to build a new building. I thought that was such a great idea. I know Plato's world was way different than ours, but the way, he was pontificating, so I can pontificate, and I think I can pontificate better than he can. That's why I would say, if I were back there, I would totally be arguing with Plato. Maybe it's because of the century I'm in, but it's more, I know it's a work of fiction and socio-political satire, but I liked it. I mean, I would say that Plato's Republic is really a work of fiction and socio-political satire. I would put them on the same realm, because Plato's Republic was not describing the existence of what was at that time. He was just pontificating on what he thought with a conversation with lots of other people. Horrid. I could not make it through the book because I hated it so much. Oh, sorry. I get a little passionate about that. No, Dune is not my favorite movie. My favorite movie was probably... David's going to laugh if I say this. I really did like that Sliding Doors movie. Yeah. Okay, that's cool, Sponheim. Plants and animals. Canadian wolves are being airdropped in. Okay, Real Magoo. It's a political show. No discussing military, even though military is related to politics. Whatever. Oh my goodness, I am so behind the chat over at iVlog. David had the thing scrolled up to the top. Now I can see it. Something about Plato. Canadian wolves are being airdropped into Michigan for a special mission. Ooh, this looks good. I just like what you share, Dr. Meow. It's kind of funky like I am. Which I don't mind admitting I'm a little funky. But I still hated. He was anti-democracy. Maybe that's why I disliked him so much, because I am not anti-democracy. Canadian wolves are being airdropped into Michigan for a special mission. 4 gray wolves called the Quartet from Canada. They've been helicoptered into Isle Royale National Park to check the 2,300 square kilometers island's moose population, which has exploded in the absence of wolves. And their second mission, hope their reintroduction will revive the island's wolf population. This conservation technique is known as rewilding. There was another pair that was introduced in September. And they're hoping to further have 14 to 24 sometime over the next 3 years. I don't know if I want to go to Michigan because I don't want to be around the wolves. Okay, the moose, but the wolves? did not see true democracy. Women weren't given the right to vote. Slaves weren't given the right to vote. So, no, I don't think he did see true democracy. It was just like they created democracy originally in America. Every landowning male got to vote. I did hear there's an app that replaces a TV remote. Yeah, since women, I will say certain things didn't go well since women had the right to vote. Like, of course, they had the, they got rid of all the alcohol for a while. That was not very smart. But I think I think it's important that everyone has a voice. I think women have add a good voice to the system. Okay, Tikin, the moose will keep the wolves distracted. I'll be fine if I go to Michigan. Well, maybe it's good that Michigan, I mean, a lot of people have left Michigan, especially since all the car factories have shut down. So maybe give it back to the wild. Maxed Out Credit says prohibition was to prevent Ford cars from running on alcohol. Some women do go topless. There are certain topless beaches, and there's a parade that happens up in our area every year where everyone wears nothing except body paint. Yes, I'm glad that they saw the light of day and got rid of prohibition. Maybe. I do think, Ghost, that sometimes I think that women, if they're certain women in power might feel the need to overcompensate and show that they're strict and could take us into war when men might not. Okay, moving nerd. Okay, is this from Paul? That's pretty funny. All right. Oh, was that one of those? Yes, amazing. Amusing. A little creeped out. Don't call a sailor a soldier. All right. I didn't know that. Hi, another brother. We're all based red pill merchants or all biased? I always forget that. Which one stays? Is the blue pill goes as deep as the rabbit hole goes? Is that which one it is? I don't know which one was which. One is you just want to stay in the status quo and you don't want to open your eyes to other possibilities. Red pill or blue pill? And blue, you go down and you just follow everything. And I don't know, they're both kind of like, I'd rather be purple. Because in blue, you're kind of following someone to whatever the one is. The red is reality. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. Sometimes I'm blue. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth. I don't think I'll have time for my own show, but I have... It's kind of like I do have my own show because I have a segment. Every night I have a segment on this show. So that is my own show time. It's like, you know, people have a time on a channel. Like in the old days where you used to have like King Fought, Channel 5, and then they would have a show. So... Thank you, another brother. If the object you see is reflecting the colors you see away from it, then what color is the object really? Every color except the color you see. All right. You open your Vanguard account with over $42 million? I don't have that kind of money. If I did have my own show, maybe I should start reading about partial differential equations and all those books in this show. That's the only time I have. Because then I end up talking about you guys and you send me on the rabbit holes with the red pills. I'm never high. I don't do that. I don't like mind-altering substances. Well, except for reality shows and, or I mean, chat shows and chocolate. That's the only mind-altering things I'll do. I don't drink coffee. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs of any kind. 402 says, you do date David. That's enough. You might be true. My life you would think is boring, but it's not because I do date David. Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe. I love math. Some people can teach math even if they don't like it, but I don't think that they inspire a love of math. Worm shows, I could do a show about worms. But I do love math. No thanks, Elfire. More for you. I'm not going to take any tokes, so you can have some more. Do I use movies to relate information to students? Sometimes, but actually not that frequently. I didn't know they have plastic receipts. They're mostly paper, I thought. Moving nerd. Is that really plastic? I always counted it as paper. I don't think I will be receiving $500 per month. If I did, I'd just put it into other things. Yeah, and besides, there's certain rules about showing videos to students. 1 in 10 have only 9, 0 to 10 has only 9 numbers. I know, 9 and 7, 8. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Man, 974. Are you so sad? Why are you hating on people? I will teach any student, child. If only I found it funny, Joe. If only I found it funny. I should learn to laugh. But then, you know. Oh, is that a wink? I got confused. I don't have 42 million in Vanguard mutual funds. It's 4,200 in Vanguard. Please don't hack me. Free, it totally made me laugh. If you did have 42 million, you could donate, you know, some money to David's campaign. Exactly, Joe. All right. Huh. I know, I'm sorry, Bree, but it made me laugh. Okay. I know you should never disclose how much money you have. I'm sure you didn't tell your family about your millions of dollars. I mean, hundreds of dollars. Wait. And now you've got me thinking, moving nerd. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and take the blue pill. Wait, take the red pill a little bit more. BPA receipts, huh? Yeah, 4,200 is the same as 4,200. It's the same thing. Math person. Okay, elementary math person. I don't understand partial differential equations yet. But I did start looking at Khan Academy and a little bit more with calculus. Reality doesn't exist if you are not looking at it. I know I could understand them. It's just trying to understand it's like, so from what I understand of partial differential equations is basically like graphing lots of, if you're standing inside a cage with like, with the air moving balls all around you, it's being able to graph all of those. Yes, Khan Academy is a wonderful place. Nice people, Irish. Nice people. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Explainer, science news for kids. The chemical BPA may become trapped in the skin after touching receipt paper. And there really is. Testing found 93% of paper receipts to be positive for either BPA or BPS. Trader Joe's. Wow. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to look up here how to avoid exposure. Thermal paper receipts and credit card debit machines. 8 out of 10 cash register receipts collected from suburban Boston area stores had measurable levels of BPA. It's an endocrine disrupting chemical used in plastics. Most research in the effects of BPA have focused on dietary exposure, such as in liquids and plastic drinking bottles or foods that are packaged in cans lined with plastics containing BPA. We simply don't know what effect BPA has when exposure is via the skin. First, if you don't need a receipt, don't take it. Even if the cashier is able to not print it, ask them not to. If you do need a receipt, ask the cashier to put it in a bag. Wow. But not in a bag with food items, especially any food items you eat raw. Wow, I never knew about BPA and receipts. And it's an endocrine disruptor. I know, you're waiting for Mr. Right. Oh, that's interesting, True Blue. You might be right about that. When is the ideal time to have multiple children? True Blue said having brothers and sisters. When an only child grows up, it can be very difficult for them to learn how to interact with others effectively. Having brothers and sisters means a chance to learn how to interact, how to self-censor, how to share. And there's a loyalty that exists between siblings.
Thank you.
You're a product of being an only child and never got married. Everyone should be banned, unbanned, and then rebanned. Wait, what? I disagree. What in specifics do you disagree with the Common Core? From this site. You have to choose something from this site that you disagree with. Let me get this site for you. CoreStandards.org. What do you disagree with on there? I believe the purpose of education in America, I kind of believe with
You got a
Thomas
phone.
Jefferson.
That's a phone call for you.
Hello.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, good. How are you?
All right. It still feels like winter here, you know?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
It's look at this beautiful winter time we're having in March. March 11th. Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah. Bree, you are so worthless. You just, how did you even get in the show, Bree? Yeah, how did Bree Olson get in the show? Yeah, we don't know if it's the real Bree. Jack Off Bandit is here. Yeah. Well, Sarah doesn't call the chat like I do, and yeah, there you go. Jack Off Bandit saying hi. He's got the scissor finger there. Is that like a symbol of something? The three parties. Ooh, that's the three-party symbol. Ooh, I like that. The three-party symbol. That could be our new thing. It's not the real Bree Olson, no. How is Bree too? She didn't. Her sister got married, I know. Did Bree get married? Does anybody track Bree Olson's career? How about the Cal signal? The C. Oh, Ghostbusters has a symbol, possibly for California. The cow symbol. Or is that the symbol for a cow? Cow symbol, as in we're cows. Moo, yeah. You get a lot of people to support that. We've got a big following of people that want to hear the cowbell. I think Beano is the way to get rid of bad gas. That's what I've heard. I've never had bad gas because I don't eat like some sort of a pig. 369 geishas are watching from a party in Kyoto for our U.S. president. Well, thank you, ladies. Arigato. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. You know, I'm feeling your femininity, and I'm beginning. You notice how it's pulling my masculinity out of me? Yeah. Notice how tough and masculine I get whenever I'm around geisha girls. Yeah, something about the women that attract the male mystique. Yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, we do cowbell on demand. So here you go, as requested. Now it's dark. As if it couldn't get any weirder. Super Saver, what do you got? Okay, let's take a look at this one. Super Saver has a little something, little ditty about Jack and Diane, except it's about Bill Gates. He plans, now get this, he plans to use chemtrails to solve global warming. This guy is not too smart, folks. We've been discussing the dangers of chemtrails and how there's no real peer-reviewed studies about their effectiveness for years. You'd think Bill Gates would realize that you're spraying people like insects and putting more chemicals in the air than ever before is not going to get rid of global warming. Hello. Wow. Boy, I think he's been sprayed pretty heavily. I mean, have you seen his face? It looks like a cheese pizza. Well, I shouldn't say that. I could get banned on YouTube. Yeah. He's got serious pizza face-itis. Thank you. That's not a known disease, so don't look it up. Pizza face-itis. Did you look that up in the CRC or Merck Manual, honey? What is pizza face-itis? It's called acne, Mom. Yeah, he's got some sort of a facial rosacea of his face. But maybe because he's so full of crap, Bill Gates has announced plans to spray chemicals into the atmosphere 12 miles above the Earth to dim the sun in order to stop global warming. We aren't suffering from global warming, you nitwit. It's freezing. The entire February and March across the nation has been icy. And now you people in London are experiencing the cold of the polar vortex. It's absolutely brisk here in London. Yeah. Excuse the fake London accent. Thank you. It's shifting everywhere. And it's all because mankind is playing God. Or worse than that, these elitists that think they can dump chemicals in the air like Bill Gates are actually the problem. They are the problem. They think that they can control the world with their money, and they can force us all to breathe this crap that dumbs us down. But I know there's a brain cell somewhere inside of all your heads across the nation that says, I don't think I should be breathing chemicals, honey. Yeah, something about being, that one little brain cell of intelligence is going, oh yeah, Dave's right. We shouldn't be breathing chemicals. It's simple logic, people.